Okay, so I'm Olga Landespan. I work at EE, so I'm a project manager there about heat and cooling network sector and specific what certificate, which I'm going to talk to you about. So what is the specific operation? In France, there are three options for benefiting from white certificate. The standardized operation, the main one, a specific operation, which is a tailor-made file, or there are also solutions offered by programs as FIBAT and OSCAR, but it's not the subject of this presentation. So why do you choose a specific operation over a standardized one? Generally, is because there's a larger volume. The site is under carbon quota obligation. This one is a really important criteria. Or the operation is way too specific. This is why it's called specific operation and highly dependent on the industrial operation. So they are not a form or a standardized operation that can fit the operation. Hence, you do a specific operation. How do you do a specific operation? So you create a file that you have to send to the French government. There you have to justify the energy saving achieved. There's also a measurement campaign after the operation, and you have to have a payback time that is over 3 years. Otherwise, it is deemed that the operation is not incitative and that you would do it anyway. So this is one of the important criteria. And l'ADEME, which is a technical expert and a French government agency, is the one that issued a guide so that people would know how to constitute a file. Who does what around the governing part of the specific operation, and it's around the same as in the standardized operation and the white certificates system. So the name of the pool are in French, sorry, but there's a part about the French government, the national pool that examines the application, issues the white certificates, and carries out checks. And there's the pool that is more about the governing parts that defines the legislative and regulatory text governing the French obligation schemes. There's l'ADEME, so the technical expert, a French government agency that will on demand, when the government is soliciting technical advice, it will ask Adam, what do you think about this file? Do you think it's plausible? Do you think the hypotheses taken were like the good ones? And there's the ATEE, so me. And my main goal is to answer stakeholders' questions relating to methodology or points of misunderstanding regarding legal text and regarding the particularly regarding the methodology about white certificates and facilitating the specific certificate sector with the publication of questions, setting up public webinar to address volume delivered, question regulatory monitoring, and putting into relation government and stakeholders. It is difficult. I don't have that much time with the government to ask my question compared to the amount of questions that I'm receiving from the French stakeholders. But we are getting there. So it's getting smoother and smoother, but there are still a lot of issues. A quick reminder, so the government part of the specific operation is the same that in the French EEOS key governing system, the Ministry of Energy Transition, the ADEME, which is the Public Scientific Expert Agency, and the ATE, which put together experts of their fields and stakeholders so that they can have a voice and we can monitor what are the main issues that they encounter or that we see so that we can be proactive towards the Ministry of Energy Transition and make propositions, answer questions. A quick reminder about key milestones for specific operation, and I think it's a really big part of why it's not working that well in France for the moment. So there are two distinct processes. first, for the stakeholders preparing your file. So you have to have an energy audit, so it can be before or after the proof of active in a incentive role. But the energy audit must be like at top 4 years before the commitment date. Then there's the completion date. And after the completion date, there's a measurement, generally 6 to 12 months. And then you submit your application. Then there's a process on the government side, processing the file. And there, at the reception of the file, they have 6 months to instruct the file. But they also have 4 months delay, implicit delay, where they can still say no or ask for complementary questions. And anytime they ask for additional information, that set back the delay. So back again, you have to give back the information. Once they get it, there are still a 10 months delay for it to be instructed. And then if they didn't answer during those delay, it's implicit acceptance and you will have your white certificate issued. So for standardized operation, it's 4 months, I think, instead of 6 or 3, and it's way quicker and they're more used to it. In the specific operation field, it can it's not rare, like it's really the norm to have files that are instructed in a couple of years. So during 2 years, you kind of hope that you will have the white certificate, but you're not sure 100%. Which is why I wanted to illustrate with those numbers, which are from the national pool that is instructing the file. So you have the average instruction time, and for 2024, it will only go up because they haven't instructed the file yet. So it's just that they receive 2 files and 1 or 2 were finished during the 2024 years, but it will keep going up after the years go by. So it's not it's not precise yet, but you can see that it's well, it take a long time to have your file instructed, and because they haven't finished to instruct all the files from each year, like even from 2022 or 2023, the number of months needed to instruct this file will keep going up a little bit. And the other issue is that well, they had a little a human resource problem in 2023, and they hired more instructors, but they still like aren't enough yet. Well, they need to keep um, uh, sorry, to have an increase in competence and to know how to instruct the file, but they are now in a capacity to to instruct more files, but there are also more files that are being sent. So they can't manage to decrease the backlog that much for the moment. It's a real issue for the specific system. So I think all this for this reason, it's bad that specific operations are a small part of total white certificate. In between January 1, the 1st, 2022 and January the 31st, 2025, sorry, all sector, the specific operations were around 2% of the total of volume of white certificate issues. Standardized operation is cover more than 90% for standard operation, and the rest is the programs. So specific operation therefore remain an exception to which beneficiaries turn when it's not possible to use a standard operation form, non-existent form because of the industrial process is too specific, cites the other reason I listed earlier. Most of the specific operations are in the industry sector. The industry sector as a whole accounted for 15% of the total of white certificate issued for both standardized and specific operation. So thank you, Jean-Sébastien, for looking up the part of white certificate, specific operation in industry white certificate. So this is for former period like the 2018-2021, where it amounted for right under 4% of the industry in this period. I think the share of transportation in specific operation really evolved because there are no more standardized form, so it really decreased. And I don't have the number per se, but I'm pretty sure it's like more than 90% of the specific operation are industry nowadays, like for 22, 23, and 24. So the requirements in terms of measured data for specific operation. First question is who has to? So there's only sites subject to carbon quotas that are obliged to measure the energy saving achieved by the operation. However, it is really strongly recommended in all other cases to do the measurement as well. The same one as the sites subjected to carbon quota. And there are discussions for the next period to make that an obligation as well. We don't have information yet about that, but it's in the discussion. And what is needed to do the requirements? So the parameters measured and the associated equipment. So they must be able to corroborate the level of energy performance by analyzing unit energy consumption or any other relevant energy performance indicators that eliminate influencing factors. They also must help identifying certain parameters impacting energy consumption. In the requirements for measurement, you have to know the exact measurement period, excluding startup, setup, shutdown periods. For instance, when you get the when you try to get the heat towards a network urban heat network, sometimes at the beginning you're not there yet, so you have a setup period. This will not be part of the measurement period. You have to be like fully intent on what the goal that was. This is a question that many of the stakeholders ask. So you also have to be precise about the measurement conditions, either it's continuous or not, whether there are a time step, what is the time step, and this is the rules about the measurement, but about everything in a specific operation file, everything must be justified. And the applicant must also attach to the file a reasoned conclusion on the difference between the theoretical energy gain and the actual one. And why is that argument really important? It's because even though the measurement verification requirements add complexity to the file, I think it's really important to know that you have to, this measurement have to corroborate the calculation method, but the issue of white certificate does not depend on this measurement. You have to argue why it's different or not. So either it's too different and then you have to do the file over, and that would be because the reference situation is not correct or the energy gain is wrongly estimated. Or it's a little bit different because there's, I don't think there is a single file while it's precisely the same between what was expected and what was measured, but you have to justify why it's not the same and why it was within expectation, the difference, so that the national pool will deliver the white certificate. Another challenge is that I think those are the main ones. Way more than the measurement and verification requirements, is that applicants lack of visibility on the eligibility of applications, and it's very long examination times by national pool, like up to several years. So the white certificate in France is supposed to be like really incitative, and I think you will be able to ask the French stakeholder that will describe a specific case with the level of uncertainty. I think it's not that incitative to do specific operation. And that was the a little bit plus one if you needed a reminder about specific the different dates important for white certificates. And that would be it for me. If you have any question or...
Thank you, Olga. In fact, there are already many questions
Okay.
until now, mainly for the Italian scheme, but that's because I already spoke. I suppose I think it is better to leave question and answer after the presentations of the case studies so that we can also get some information from them. So